Hey everyone, Season 2 of the College Hoops 2K Legacy Mode featuring Coach Carter and the Fordham Rams is tipping off today. Welcome back to the series. Safe to say I'm psyched about the fresh start as we try to put that 6-win, 20-loss first season to bed today. But as we finished the offseason episode last time around, you can check the playlist in the description if you'd like to watch that in case you missed it. The burning question is, how much better did we really get? Before we travel to Utah State, we're going to tune into the Season 2 preview show. We're going to see all the All-American lists, the predictions, and an unlikely team as the early title favorites. Let's hop in and take a look.
Hi everyone, I'm Greg Gumbel at the anchor desk with my partner Clark Kellogg, bringing you the 2K Sports Season Preview Show. Here are the Big Five, the top teams in the country as we begin the season. The Boston College Eagles come in as the #1 ranked team, followed by Cincinnati, Florida State, North Carolina, and Michigan State. Boston College is in the catbird seat to start the season, sitting pretty in the #1 spot. They've got a whole crew of high school Mr. Basketballs on this team.
A team is usually happy to land one Mr. Basketball, but with the number they have, this could be a golden era of basketball success at this university. There's nothing but good times ahead.
Here's the next group of teams in our preseason top 25. What's your impression of that set of teams?
The upside of these teams far outweighs the downside. Expect at least half of these teams to finish the season in the top 10, and one or two of them have a chance to be right at the top.
How about this list?
I'm not convinced that all of these teams belong in the top 25. I don't want to pick out anyone in particular, but I think some teams that aren't on the list could make a pretty strong case as to why they belong here.
We have a lot of new coaching hires to tell you about as we start the season. You now see all the coaches who will be heading to new programs. Some very substantial changes can be seen, that's for sure. We now head to the part of the show where we break down the top players in the nation and show you our preseason All-American list. What you see before you is the cream of the crop in college hoops. What a list.
De Silva is the first player on the list for good reason. He's a former high school Mr. Basketball he was Wisconsin's Mr. Basketball in high school. A player who is used to being such a dominant force usually carries that confidence with him to the next level. And that's exactly what we've seen with him in going from high school to college. Sanders is simply a spectacular player. Feels like this guy's been playing college basketball forever. This will be his 4th year as a starter. But I still don't take him for granted, and I think this will be his best season of all of them. Travis is one of my favorite players in the country. He can make things happen on the basketball court thanks to his unique ability to read and understand defenses, while most players are just trying to come up with their next move. He's 3 steps ahead of the game, and that's what separates the good players from the great. Knotts is going to have his own personal highlight reel by the end of this season. He was a multiple threat on the offensive end of the court last season, and there will be more of the same this time around. He led his team in scoring, and it's a lock that he'll do it again.
As we move to the second team All-Americans, we can see there's no shortage of talent with this group. They're all elite players with the potential to dominate the game.
Hayes was close to a spot on the first team, but there was too much competition this season. Not only could he be depended on for scoring and defense, but he was the top assist man on his team last season as well. That kind of selfless attitude from your star player is invaluable, Greg. Davidson is in the spotlight for all the right reasons. If I had to pick some front runners for the Player of the Year award, he would be right there on the list. I've seen him take over games even when he isn't scoring 30. There are some great scorers among these All-Americans, and he's one of them, but he does much more than score. Givens
Is at the crux of his team's postseason hopes.
It isn't out of the realm of possibility to say that he might even be a little bit underrated. I know it seems far-fetched to say that about a preseason All-American pick, but I'm not sure people realize just what a huge year he's in for, Greg. Tatum is one of the great talents in the college game today. There's plenty to like about him as a player. He's got that deadly combination of smarts and physical skills that makes him so difficult to defend. A coach's mentality in the body of a world-class athlete. Any questions as to why he's on the list?
Here is the final player to cap off our list of All-Americans. The Louisville Cardinals know who their fan favorite is going to be this year.
Grace is ready to have a breakout season. We always talk about the guys with great hands. Well, he's got great feet. I love those happy feet. There are few players in the nation with better footwork than him.
All right, Clark, thanks very much. Glad you could join us for the 2K Sports Season Preview. We hope you enjoy all the college hoops action ahead. So long, everyone.
Well, Boston College is the early title favorites. That's pretty interesting since they haven't really done anything worth noting in the series so far. The defending champions Houston, they're a top 15 team entering Season 2 with the runner-ups Kentucky, not even in the top 25. Kentucky was shocked by Houston in the title game in the offseason episode, and it looks like Calipari is going to have to start from scratch. And finally, our conference, the Atlantic 10, had one team in the top 25, Charlotte at number 18, who has one of the best defenses in college basketball entering this season. But that's enough about Nation news. Let's highlight our opening game at Utah State. As for the second year in a row, we opened the year as double-digit underdogs on the road. Last season, we began the series in Syracuse and lost 70-55. We'll see if we can keep it a little bit closer this time around. But we definitely have our work cut out for us. This will be one of the tougher defenses we see all season long, with the height and quickness on this Aggie squad perhaps being overwhelming for an offense like us. Terrence Wise averaged 11 last year to lead this team, a 6'7" wing who's quick on his feet and swished through 42 threes a season ago. But I personally have my sights set on 7'3" senior Leighton Mabongo, who's pretty polished for his size and isn't afraid of getting physical inside. For an offense as brutal to watch at points as we were last year, this will be without a doubt a test. And with our top scorer from year one, AJ Ali, lost due to graduation, we're going to be finding out a lot about the makeup of this team from the opening tip, won't we? Nothing worth noting in terms of roster moves as we take a peek at our opening day rotation, other than Milos Filipovic, the lowest overall out of all of our freshmen, receiving a red shirt heading into season 2. Well, you guys heard me say that this can be a pretty scary environment last episode. Utah State is known for their choreographed chants and intimidating student section. Well, it's time to meet them, coming up next on the Coach Carter College Hoops 2K Legacy Mode. Well, it did not take long for this place to get poppin', huh? I think this Aggies crowd is just as excited for season 2 as we are. Mabongo versus Sorensen at the timeline as the 7'3" Leighton Mabongo, no surprises there, wins the tip. And Utah State has first rights to the basketball tonight to open up season 2, the first defensive possession. This is a team that was about league average in points per game allowed, us Fordham Rams, and obviously the question marks start on the offensive side of the floor as Terrence Wise comes through the lane. The 6'7" junior gets it done on the first possession. Their top returning scorer, rebounder, and steal man. So the jack of all trades is Terrence Wise as Evangelo Higgins looks for an answer. He has some distance between his defender, no good there, but he does hustle back and will get the stop on Terrence Wise this time around. Preston Murphy looks for the home run pass. It's Stanton Scott from way downtown to get us on the board here to begin season 2. Obviously, Preston Murphy with a huge load on his shoulders, switching up, moving to the point guard role, as he was second in the team in assists, and he was also better off the bounce shooting a season ago, but off the bounce there from 3 doesn't get it to fall. And then here he is cherry picking at the top of the key as Bradley Kinsey goes backdoor and records a 3-point play on top of Cade Sorensen. Kinsey, the second leading returning scorer for the Aggies, 10 points and 4 assists for the 6'4" senior, as Utah State up early 7-3. And now they're showing a full court man-to-man press as Murphy turns on the Jets and delivers a nice feed inside to Cade Sorensen as the senior records his first bucket on the year. Murphy with 2 nice passes so far in the first couple possessions. Sorensen with his offhand. The southpaw can't get it to fall. Mabongo collects his second rebound, and it's Bradley Kinsey trying to knife his way through to no avail. Murphy collects, and it's Stan Scott leading the break. Looking over top of the key, extra swing pass to Higgins to give us a lead. Quick 6 unanswered points, and Fordham shooting the ball well here in the first 5 minutes. Utah State back out on top. So here is Stan Scott now looking for a curler. Once again, it's Sorensen. This time the pass goes to Swanson. Now Murphy looking for the parallel pick and roll, and he dishes it off to Fabian Swanson, just avoiding the up and down. And that's now 3 pretty flashy assists there by Preston Murphy. Timeout Aggies, Fordham on top, and Preston Murphy's turning heads quickly. As he makes that move to the point guard role, this was exactly what we had in mind. He was probably our most consistent playmaker on the team last year, and he's looked good so far, but he's going to try to score. He's been held without a bucket so far. Swing pass to Stan Scott, goes inside to Corey Terrell, one of the 4 new freshmen, well, 3 as Milos Filipovic is receiving the red shirt, but there's the first collegiate basket for the 6'10 junior college transfer. We see some more first-year players checking in, Chen Li being one of them, number 14, a 6'8 freshman forward from China, and Dustin Black, the first recruit ever in our program history. He was the first commitment in our 4-player class, and now he comes off a Corey Terrell screen and nets it from the top of the key. That one looked pretty confident there for the freshman. 17 apiece as the first-year players making an impact. Amir Holiday, the former D2 transfer who's now a senior, our 6th man coming into this year, mostly just a knockdown shooter. He also checks in for his first minutes as this one works to Alex Malone. Inside to Mabongo, who knifes his way past Corey Terrell. I mean, every big guy has had their hands full with him so far. Obviously, he's just head and shoulders height-wise above everybody else. So Utah State now takes a lead, 6:51 left to play in the first half, as Dustin Black again knifes his way past this 2-3 zone, but this one is the first mistake for the freshman tonight. Here comes Clemens. This is Pierre Clemens, one of 3 freshmen you'll see get ample playing time on Utah State. And with how athletic this team is, they don't run a lot in the half court. They don't rush their shots, but they don't mind getting out in the open floor and capitalizing off a turnover. So that's something to definitely avoid, as Dustin Black gets those 2 points right back. The freshman stays perfect. As checking back into some starters, including Preston Murphy, I see Fabian Swanson coming back out on the floor, and Cade Sorensen as well, as this one goes inside to Sorensen. Skip pass. Preston Murphy looking for his first bucket of the new year, and that one drops through. Fordham shooting very well here against a pretty prominent defense in the WAC conference. 30-27, 2:30 left to go. We are competing so far. Chester Nexkovic almost turning it over there, the 6th man for Utah State, but then he hits Alex Malone curling off the corner, just popping up like it was pretty routine for him. KJ Bigsby also checks in after receiving the red shirt last year. He has his first minutes in D1 action. He almost got the steal there, but unfortunately it was just not meant to be, as Utah State opens it up a little bit. Here comes Brooks Givens as it works around to Alex Malone again. We're pressuring Chester Nestovic at the top of the key, and we finally get that steal. We earn this one. Stan Scott all the way with the offhand, drops 2 more in. Scott, 5 points. He's coming off a pretty awesome junior year off the bench. Obviously, he was a guy that needed more time, and he's earned it. Him and Fabian Swanson making their first starts in D1 action this year. 11 seconds left to shoot here in the first half. 5 on the shot clock. 35-29, trying to get it down to 1 possession game as Scott hits another. He will do just that, and Fordham heads into the break. Double-digit underdogs, no problem, says Murphy and company. 35-32. The Rams and Coach Carter are thinking upset after the first 15 minutes. Not too many times last year we find ourselves in a shootout, but Season 2 is starting us off with a surprise. Our Rams were shooting 6 for 7 from 3 and 57% overall. For an offense with as many question marks as us coming into this season, this is an incredible performance. However, it's highly unlikely we can keep up this pace, and we have to get our offense inside the arc going. Sure, we're 6 of 7 on threes, but only 6 of 14 on 2-pointers. Another crazy storyline is our first-time starters, Fabian Swanson and Stan Scott, combining for 12 points and on 5 for 8 shooting. Bradley Kinsey led the Aggies in scoring, and 2-guard Alex Malone has 5 assists, and Leighton Mabongo has an early dunk of the year contender. Let's keep the turnovers down, keep playing as a team, and tighten up on the defensive side of the floor, and we might have a chance to start season 2 with an impressive road victory. All right, welcome back, everybody. Fresh 15 minutes back on the clock. Fordham 32, Utah State 35, as our Rams are in striking distance after an awesome played first half. And here comes Preston Murphy, who looks to get it going, and there's a jump shot immediately for number 4. He's only had 4 looks at it from the field, but there's his second basket as Terrence Wise tries to take it on Stanton Scott over Leighton Mabongo. Good movement for the Wax defending champions all first half long, and that will continue with Bradley Kinsey, the game's top scorer, now with 11 points on the contest. So, Aaron, the first half, both teams were in the high 50% from the field as Mabongo takes off from the elbow and he dunks down another. Well, you're going to have pretty high field goal percentages with plays like that, you'd have to say, right? So, Corey Terrell checks back in at the 4 this time, hopefully trying to add some more height for us as we're starting to lose the rebounding battle a little bit. And Utah State getting the better of us inside. This one's blocked by Brooke Govins. And leading the break is Chester Nestevic, who is the Utah State 6th man. And now Mabongo draws a double. Nestevic puts the ball on the deck and beats Preston Murphy off the bounce for points 5 and 6 today for him. As Utah State continues to open it up a little bit, now leading by 12. Here comes Alex Malone off a screen for 3 more. Now a 15-point Utah lead out of nowhere. Safe to say we've gone cold on the offensive end. This is just like we saw a couple times last year when we were in it with some pretty good teams. As look at Dustin Black trying to stay perfect from the field, and he does. 3 for 3 for the freshman in his first collegiate game. The 6'4" point guard from Scranton, Pennsylvania, he continues to impress, but so does Leighton Mabongo, now with 11, the 3rd Utah State Aggie to get in double figures. But yeah, now a 16-point lead. We just couldn't get our offense going in time inside the arc as things started to slow down outside. Yeah, we just could not figure out how to attack this zone. There's so much length on this team. Great pass, though, there by Fabian Swanson. Off the mark, though, from Evangelo Higgins. But putting in 2 more is Swanson. We all were talking about him and Stan Scott in the first half. They were really impressing as we're just trying to make things competitive here. Curling off a backdoor feed is Dustin Black, who delivers a nice bounce pass to Scott for 11. He is the only Fordham player in double-figure scoring totals. As we jump back into the game, 3:28 left to go. Things kind of got out of control a little bit here, but at least we're starting to stay step for step with Utah State down the stretch. It's been at about 15-17 for a while now, so we didn't get it totally out of hand. As Preston Murphy, where's the basket interference? That looked pretty obvious that Terrence Wise blocked it when it was still on the cylinder, as Preston Murphy's really struggled today, and that adds to it. And then on the other end, Fabian Swanson caught in no man's land against a 7'3" beast. Leighton Mabongo again scores inside. It's been a very tough second half for us, man. We're getting outscored by 17 points. If Mabongo knocks this down, he does, as the second unit checks in for the Aggies, and pretty soon would check in for the Fordham Rams as well. So 3 minutes left to go. The best you can do is just try to make some positive plays and bring some momentum over to you for the next game. Nice post hook from the left-hand side. It's Swanson over his right shoulder. Now he is also at 10 points. As here comes the bench, and also here comes some more chants, some choreographed taunts for this Utah State building. And yeah, this one hurts a little bit to hear for sure as Amir Holiday steps to the line. Now these guys are reading us off the final score from the crowd, from the student section, pointing at us, yelling "losing team." It doesn't feel very good. but we got to pick up the pieces and move forward as we drop this game by 20 points. As Leighton Mabongo scores 10 out of his 14 in the second half to be your player of the game. This is the type of game that once again asked us, how much better did we really get from a season ago? Time and time again, we either kept it close with good teams and we'd fall apart in the second half, or we didn't show up in the first half and then we'd almost pull off an awesome comeback. That was so many of our losses last year, and this was the former. But to be fair, it did look like, it did take a half where we shot nearly 60% to compete with these guys, and then in the second half we shot 7 for 26 as a team, or 27% to close things out, with Stan Scott, Fabian Swanson, and Dustin Black being the only Rams to really play a consistent game. I think the newcomers played well. I think Dustin Black was really impressive, 3 for 3 and a nice assist. He was very big for us off the bench. Corey Terrell finished well around the rim, and Chen Lee made some nice heads-up plays as well. And I know it's a tough team to deal with, but Murphy and Higgins shooting 3 for 17 put together will just never get it done. So definitely a lot to like, but a lot to work on as well as we try to put that second half in the rearview mirror. As in the next episode, we will be opening up at home finally after we get all these plane rides out of the way on our recruiting trips. We're gonna have a visit with the Yale Bulldogs, who just hired the Florida State coach, who has a very impressive and lengthy resume and is a 92 rated coach. So even against an Ivy League opponent, Yale was the team that won the Ivy League last year. So not an easy feat at all. And then after our home opener, we will be taking on Furman. And if we beat Furman, we'll be facing the winner of Nebraska and Eastern Michigan in our preseason tournament. This is one half the bracket, so it'll be 3 rounds for us if we can make it out unscathed, but we'll see. Nebraska, obviously a Big 12 team. We'll have our hands full if we can beat Furman, which we are heavily favored in that one. So yep, that'll be the end of this episode. Welcome to season 2, everybody. Obviously, it's a little early to be a little worried, but yeah, that second half just seemed way too close to some of our losses last year. So some things to definitely work on. Got to put Murphy and Higgins in better positions to succeed, although I did like the way Murphy passed the ball in his first game as a point guard. I was really impressed with his vision. He also rebounded well and held his own on defense. So there's some things to like, things to work on, and as we move on to our preseason tournament and home opener. So stay tuned for that here on College Sports Revived. We're gonna have that video out very soon. Hope you guys are excited as we try to earn our first win of season 2 and add some respectability to the program. Hope you guys stick around for that. I'll see you later. Peace, everybody.